Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Creatively Performing Arts Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me all the way into 2023. We are back and ready to go. Today is just a little mini episode to welcome you back. Happy New Year. Um, Thanks so much for continuing to listen to the show. Really appreciate it. I'm excited for what this year is going to bring. There are some things I want to share with you real quickly about what my heart is for the podcast this year, and I'm so excited to share that with you just after like time in reflection and spent with God and just resting, which is so necessary, especially for creatives. We need to rest, right? So I can't wait to share in a moment just some of my thoughts and desires for this year, and it's going to be a little different than how it's been before. And that's the exciting thing about creation, is that we keep um, innovating, and we keep, you know, pivoting, and there are different twists and turns, and that is the creative process. So before we get into that, I wanted to share some reminders. First of all, welcome to January 9th. Today is the day that I'm opening up my calendar again for voice lessons. So you can go to creativelybyestelle.com, or you can just click the link in the bio. The show notes on whatever podcast app that you're listening to, and go ahead and book a voice lesson. Have you tried a lesson? Is your goal for this year to be more creative, to explore a creative outlet like singing? This is the perfect way to start. Okay, a great entry point. A beginner virtual voice lesson with me, super simple on Zoom, and trust me, by the end of it, you will have found some nice voice warm ups that you love that I'll send to you afterwards, and you would have gotten to sing a song that you enjoy singing. And so it's so fun, and you'll grow as a singer just by practicing, just by taking that time. So yeah, go ahead and book a lesson with me. And just hint, just like for like a side note, the 30-minute voice lessons that I still have available might not be there for long. So take advantage if you just want a half-hour lesson as opposed to a full hour. It's less expensive, yes, and also less time. You can't do as much in that short amount of time, but which is why I'm like rethinking how I want to do these. So anyway, just take advantage for now, just in case it might not be there a little bit later. So again, creativelybyestelle.com, or you can go to the show notes. Also, another fun announcement is that I've been talking about a free workshop that I'm going to be hosting online virtually, called the Confident Singer Workshop, all about boosting confidence as you perform and sing. I'm actually moving it out of January into the first week of February. So it's going to be Thursday, February 2nd in the evening. And after that, I'm going to invite you to a live group coaching program for singers, kind of like the membership that I had offered last year, but a little bit different. So I'll be telling you more about it. But for the workshop, it's going to be so exciting, all about helping you to start singing and performing with confidence. So if you've ever struggled with, how do I feel more confident on stage? How do I know how to warm up my voice to feel more confident in my voice? We're going to go through all of that in this workshop. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so inspiring and helpful, I believe, and I hope. So I hope that you'll join me, and I'll be talking about it more. So yeah, mark your calendars. February 2nd, Thursday, February 2nd, I'll be sending out some more information through my email list and a Facebook group, so make sure you join there as well. All of that is in the show notes. All right, so I just want to share a little bit about what my heart is going into this year, what I've been thinking about, what I've been praying about, what I've been really feeling my spirit nudging me towards. And yeah, I just want to share that with you. So as a lot of you know, as you all probably know if you've listened to this show even at least once, I talk about my faith all the time. So I'm a Christian. I follow Christ, meaning that I believe that Jesus Christ, that God, the creator of the world, came as the form of man through Jesus Christ, and came and lived on this earth, served people, loved people well, and really showed what grace, true grace, means, and also died on the cross and resurrected again. And he died a death to take on the sins of all of us as human beings, because literally not a singular one of us is perfect, right? We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes. We all do things that hurt ourselves, that hurt other people, and that hurt God ultimately, because He wants us to have a relationship with Him. And when we sin, when we live in sin, and we live out of our own desires instead of the desires that God has for us, it causes the separation. And so Jesus died on the cross because He wanted to heal that rift between the world and God, between humans and God, so that we can have a relationship with God. And so I believe that Jesus died on the cross to save me from my sins, so that I don't have to give into the power of sin over me anymore. I'm free. I can live freely from fear. I can live freely from my my flesh, and from evil. I can live free, and I can be confident in, not in myself because I'm imperfect, but in God who lives in me. And so and I have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ, and that's what I believe. And so I share that a lot. I share about my faith a lot, and about being led by the Spirit and hearing from God in prayer, and how that's really impacted my desire to be creative and to create and to express and to explore my creative giftings, because I believe they come from God Himself, who created at the very beginning. And the very first book in the Bible is the Word of God, and it's written by men throughout centuries ago, who were followers of God, who knew God personally, and that I believe God spoke through them and wrote through them. And the first book in the Bible is Genesis. And Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." And so the very first thing that we see that God ever did was that He created. And that's how we came to be, right? He created the heavens and the earth. He created science. He created um, the world, the universe as we know it. We don't even know everything about all that He's created, but He created it all. And He created man and woman, right? He created all of us as human beings who He loves so deeply. And He created us so uniquely. And He also made us in His image, which means that we all, whether you know God or don't, as like in a personal relationship, whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in Jesus or not, the Bible says that we all are made in His image, and which makes so much sense when you think about, okay, He was the creator, and we all, as human beings, have this capacity to create. We all have this capacity to be creative that's not really seen in um, any other of the in the rest of creation in the same way that we have it, right? We have this ability to form ideas and to put them into action and to create these cool, beautiful things. And my heart, for this show now is really leaning towards focusing on that why behind creativity, and as well as the who behind creativity, and really keeping in mind and keeping central that we are image bearers. We all have this ability to create because of the Creator Himself. And I don't want to hide that. I don't want to beat around the bush around that, because that is so central to my story and my journey, and I want to be authentic and genuine with you, because I know that having a relationship with God and knowing Him profoundly impacts the why behind why we're exploring and using our creative gifts, because it's so important that you are not hiding your talents, that you are not, ignoring them. And when I tell you that, the more I know God, the more I have a relationship with God, the more, driven I am, the more called I feel, really, to explore and use those creative gifts to glorify God and to serve others. And so I really want to share more about that relationship with Christ. I want to share more faith-centric stories. I want to share more about how faith can truly impact and influence your creative giftings and your desire to start singing and acting and performing and dancing and being creative every single day. My relationship with Jesus has literally saved my life and given me the desire to create, and to glorify God and to serve others through that creativity, right? And so I want every other person who's listening to this, who is a part of this community, to experience this, because it has really changed my life. And I don't want to hide it. I want to let the light of creating along with Christ shine this year, because faith and creativity are not mutually exclusive. In fact, my faith has given me more of a desire to be creative and has given me more freedom in that, because I know that there's like a purpose, like I'm not just creating just to create, but like there's a purpose to love God and to love others through that creativity, through singing a song, through exploring the story behind a song or a character, and so yeah, I want to share that more with you. And I understand that not everyone listening might be of faith, but or be a Christian, or you might have some questions, and you're always welcome to ask questions. Email me at estelleofberry@gmail.com. Reach out anytime. If I can't answer the question, I'll find someone who can and get them on the show. But I really want to encourage and make God central in this podcast and in my business as well. He's always been central, but I want it to be even more evident that I'm encouraging you to use your God-given creative gifts in singing, acting, and dancing. And I really want to speak to that aspect of it being God-given, because if we don't know our Creator, it's going to change the way that we create, and the reason why we create, it's going to be different. And so I just want to be open about, that's my heart for this year. Going into this year, you're going to hear more interviews. Actually, I have so many interviews coming up. A couple of them are with people of faith, who talk about how their faith has impacted their creativity as songwriters, singers, as actors, as content creators. So it's going to be really cool. I'm excited. Whether you're a Christian or not, you're going to learn so much. You're going to be inspired. I can promise you that. I can guarantee you, honey, you will always be inspired on this show. Even if you aren't really sure about the faith aspect, I want you to stick around. I'd really challenge you to stick around and to be curious. And again, join the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group to find some more community. I'm going to be sharing in the Facebook group as well, that I'm going to be sharing more encouragement spiritually, as well as with the practical and tactical aspects of creativity. I want that spiritual inspiration, because when you have that heart that is set on Christ, that is set on a relationship with God, it completely transforms the way that you create. And that's what I've experienced, and that's what I want to share with this show. It's going to impact why you start singing, acting, and dancing again when you have a relationship with God. And so I want to share that aspect of my own life and the creatives that I interview. Not all of them might be faith-centric, but I know that that's something that I'm definitely going to be focusing on this year. So stick around. I'm so excited for what is coming up. I hope you are. Let me know if you have any thoughts or ideas. Also, if you have any suggestions of people that I can interview, let me know. Okay, I would love to hear your suggestions. Now, before I sign off, I want to read from this book that I have started rereading. I started reading it a while ago, and then I need to reread it and finish it. But it's called Images and Idols: Creativity for the Christian Life, by Thomas J. Terry and Ryan Lester. By Thomas J. Terry and J. Ryan Lister. I will make sure I put it in the show notes. Oh, and the foreword is by Jackie Hill Perry, by the way, who's a poet, who's really awesome. So, they talk about really just the origin for creativity, and really needing to know, God in order to truly impact the way that you create. And there are just so many good nuggets that I've seen already in this book that I'm excited. It's just making me more excited to finish it. But I will read just one part from page 18. It says, "Most of us know how to create, but we struggle, or we soon will, with the purpose behind our creative impulse. So rather than showing you how to be creative, we want to help you understand why you are creative." And I really love that, because the authors are talking about God, they're talking about a relationship with God. And I really want to encourage you to think about the purpose and the why behind creativity throughout this year. I want to encourage you, I want to inspire you, yes, and give you tactical tips for starting to sing, dance, and act. But I also want to give you that faith background, that inspiration behind why we create, and knowing that God is the creator and all creativity comes from Him. I'm excited to share more about that this year, and I hope that you will stick around. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here as always. If you love this show and you've never left a review, hey, it's a new year. It's a great way to start. Go ahead and leave a review in Apple Podcasts. It really does help people find the show more. Thank you to the last person who left a review. Actually, I need to read it on the show because it was so beautiful. So I'll make sure that I read it in the next episode. Again, thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Have an amazing week. Keep creating, and I will talk to you later.